Now that we have a secure login form, instead of it doing nothing and going nowhere, we could use it to restrict access to our homepage menu. We want the homepage menu to display only if the login is already valid. Otherwise, we want it to display the login form. We've already established that the login form matches the password to the username, and if it's a match, it simply says, yes, there's a match. What we wanted to do is use the header location construct to send processing back to the home page, index.php, with a message that the authorization is OK. Auth equals 1 or true. Otherwise, try again. When we get back to the home page, we get the query string auth, and if it's true or 1, we set the value of the variable content file to the location of the home page menu file. Otherwise, we use header location to go back to the login form again. Now, if you've experimented with your login form, or just to be sure that you're using the same code as I am, you can restore the file using the snapshot file, login form 0804 end, or just load the login form from before. When we've established that the password matches the retrieved password, that is, the typed password matches the password retrieved from the database, we no longer want the code to say, yes, passwords match. We want it to use header location and go to upper level to the index page with the message auth equals 1. Query string auth has the value true or 1. We can then get rid of the old code that simply said the passwords matched. And we can save that login form now. Except we have a bit of a problem. Whenever we use the header construct, remember we had to be certain that there was no previous output to the browser. And here we certainly do have some previous output to the browser. We echoed a login form header. We can cut that with Control X. And instead of putting it before we use the header construct, we'll put it down here after we've used the header construct. And similarly, for the tail header that said that was the end of the login form. So we've got all of our rendering happening after or otherwise to using our header function. We'll save that form now and close it. Now load index.php and save all of the PHP content, including the PHP tags, onto a new file and save this as inc CRM menu in the includes folder, and close that file. And now delete everything between the PHP tags in the index file and insert the snippet project index chapter 8 include content file. So we're saying here include once this variable name content file. Clearly, this includes a file referred to by a variable, and you've probably guessed that we need to give this variable a name. And the name, of course, is includes/inc_crmmenu.php, which is what we saved the contents as. Can you also guess why we're using a variable rather than just the actual file path and name? This new index file is going to test for an authorized login, and if none is found, then it will use the PHP header function to redirect the script to our login form. Of course, using PHP's header function means that we need to make sure it's not preceded by any output, and the whole top part of the index PHP is all output. So our test needs to go at the very top of the file. So we'll position the cursor at the top and create a bit of space, and paste the snippet index chapter 8 login authorization. And while we're here, let's add in our style sheet reference as well from a previous lesson. So our index file now says login authorized is equal to get auth. Remember, we sent the value 1 for the query string auth. If login authorized, then set the content file variable, this one, to the location of the code that we stored in inc CRM menu. Otherwise, return to the login form. Let's save that. And in our browser, go to the home page, which is HTTP localhost, and indeed it has come straight away with the login form. Let's put in one of the username and passwords that we had before and click login, and yes, we get our menu because it's sent index.php auth equals 1. So the principle of page protection is now demonstrated, but this protection is very weak. The problem is the authorization code auth equals 1 is displayed in the URL address bar. Anyone could enter that and get straight away to the main menu. So we could close the browser, open up a new browser, and simply type in localhost/index.php with the query string auth equals 1, press return, and we get straight away our menu. We could strengthen this by sending an encrypted query string, but it would still appear in the browser's URL address bar. We could strengthen it by using a form with a button on the login page to say authenticated, click to proceed, like this. In our login form, instead of the header function, paste the snippet authentication form, and we'll just put comments in there to comment out that header function and save this. This now sends the query string auth as a hidden parameter in a form. So when we click the submit button, which has the value click to proceed, it sends auth equals 1, but it won't be in the URL address bar. We'll have to change the index file to post because it's being sent by a form and not by a visible query string. And once again, let's put in our home page. Yes, we get the login form straight away. Let's put in our username and password, click login, and we get this message, password OK, click to proceed. Notice there's no indication of what the authorization code was in the URL address bar. Click to proceed, and we get our menu up and running again. And we can click the back button to go back to our login form, which is quite annoying to have to use the back button, not to mention bad programming. So at the end of our include file, Inc. CRM menu, let's paste the snippet project includes Inc. CRM logout form, which is simply going to be a form that allows us to go to the index page with the hidden query string and a value of false or 0, and save that. Now, when we log in and click proceed to OK, we have a logout button that'll take us straight back to the login form. Now, we've hidden authorizations code, which still adds an extra step for the user, but we keep going back to the login form on other pages. So even if we log in successfully here and go to list companies, whenever we quit to the home page, we're back to the login form, so it doesn't retain the login details. This method requires that we'd need to post the authorization code from every page in the application, and that returns to the home page. Clearly, we need a better way, and one that preserves the authorization code across pages.